Okay, recording's in. Okay, Cecile, over to you.
Yes, thanks, Jay. So I'm part of the Reeconomy Luxembourg, and I'm coordinating a community here of entrepreneurs. And I will be explaining to you the CODEV, and as Jay suggested, you can maybe say where you're from and what you do, just shortly, as we have yes, I would like to do a case study. So I will introduce the CODEV, the method, and then we will actually do it in practice, because I think that practicing is the best way to learn. So I don't know if I do, maybe I won't give Caroline, because she will be presenting herself during the CODEV, Caroline. But maybe I will do the room here, and then we go back to the online as well. So maybe Ikram, if you want to.
Okay, so hey everyone, hope that you're enjoying this session. I'm Moroccan, and for the moment in Luxembourg for a long-term volunteering project, and managing all the communication related things in Reeconomy, more specifically in the co-creator. Okay.
My name is Eva. Well, I used to participate in the CODEV in Sicily since a few years, yes. Yeah, and today I joined just to continue to bring something maybe up to
Okay. I don't know if anyone in the Jessica, I know there is a Jessica that Jay knows.
Hi, I'm Jess. I am based in Plymouth in Devon. I work as a coach and consultant with entrepreneurs in the Southwest, and a lot of what I do is about sort of facilitating them to design it between themselves with my support. So I was really interested in what I might learn today.
Thanks.
And Sonia?
Hi, everyone. So my name is Sonia. I'm from Spain, but I'm actually based in Plymouth, although right now I'm at the Reeconomy Center in Totnes. What I do is, well, one of the things I do is to help the tourism sector to transition to regeneration. And the other thing I do is to help communities to create, develop tourism projects to help their destinations thrive. So thank you, and over to Lina.
Hi, everybody. My name is Lina. I am based in Helsinki, Finland. I'm a master's student in regenerative economics at Schumacher College and the University of Plymouth. And I'm currently writing my dissertation on mutual credit. And I am also doing a case study with Lancaster Local Loops, which is basically building little credit clearing clubs, which is a B2B type of community networking service. And so I thought that this would be a good idea to be here today and also use this as a part of my dissertation research. So Jay, thanks. And I'll pass it to Kate.
Lina, hi, I'm Kate. I am another one of Jay's students, actually. I'm based in Rome at the moment. Hi. And I work as a linguist and a researcher. I'm currently writing my dissertation as well, and it's about regenerative agriculture as a pathway for paradigm change. And I'm focusing within that on the inner development of innovators. So I thought this would also be super interesting in general, and perhaps as part of my research, who knows. And I'd like to pass on to, and I'm really sorry, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. Is it Awa?
Yes, that's right. So hello, I'm Awa. I'm an entrepreneur in Luxembourg and also part of the Reeconomy network. So I used to be part of some CODEV in Luxembourg, but I never run one. So here I am. So I think everybody already introduced itself. I should be the last one, right?
No, there is Chris as well.
Hi, I'm just down the road from Jay and Jess and Sonia because I'm in Torquay. And I'm co-director with Jay of Local Spark, which is Torquay's community supported enterprise. And I'm longing to learn more about the idea of how to run co-development sessions with entrepreneurs, because I think this is something we could do lots of.
Great, thanks. Thanks, it's really nice to see all of you, and I love the fact that you are from, you know, other countries, and that we are in that sharing methodology and so on. So if you have any as well, you can, that you know, we can even do meetups with your expertise. And this is, as Jay was saying, this is all about what we want to try to do and connect more the people. About connection, actually, the CODEV, it's really a nice way to connect people together. And we use it quite, I think I've run, I don't know, 30, 40 now, because I did it, you know, since 2016 or something like that. And so I will, I'm sure you have heard about intelligence, collective intelligence. It's a methodology. And CODEV comes from there, and CODEV, it is for co-development. And I will have to ask you if I want to. Yes. So, as I said, collective intelligence methodology that offers really a big boost for the project of any entrepreneurs, and as well the motivation. It's a reverse training process, actually, because you learn from other entrepreneurs. You will see in the method and the tips I'm going to give, it's also nice to have different backgrounds, because then, of course, you learn from more people that have different expertise, of course. It's also another way to deal with difficulties or defining a clear objective, questioning a goal, because as you are an entrepreneur, when you're an entrepreneur, usually you work alone. So this is the hardest part, because you don't have any, it's hard to get feedback. I mean, feedback from yourself, it's maybe not always, you don't get that much. Or maybe yes, but not. You don't have another view from someone else, which you have during a CODEV session. It's also stimulates as well a sense of autonomy, responsibility, and the spirit of effectuation. So I don't know if you know, that's another. It's not a method, but it's a training, the effectuation. It's actually doing with what you have, starting from what is present, and there are no ideal solution, but pragmatic ones. And effectuation, it's also something I'm totally fond of, because it's also a reverse process. So you are not really doing an MBA or something like, okay, entrepreneurships, you should do like that, business plan and so on. And effectuation, it's much more into go into the action. You know people, and so CODEV, it's actually as well a good way to implement your actions. So the 5 tips that I would give to you, who wants to do the CODEV. So the first things to do is to create a group. It could be 8 or 10 people, and as I explained, with different backgrounds, and you have to respect the steps that I will show you and explain to you what it is, something that we will do actually afterwards. And our case study, as I said today, it's Caroline who is next to me. And the timing. The timing is really important, actually. It's you have to really start, as it is a process, it is important to remind the people who are getting into the session that that as soon as we start, it's not like we still like hanging with one another or networking and so on. So we will have to time all the different steps. The facilitation is an essential role. This is what I'm going to do. So it's to prepare what a facilitator has to do. It's to prepare the session with the client. The CODEV, they use the name client for the person who will introduce his project and also ask for help. And all of us today, we will be the consultants. So that's the two words that I'm going to repeat in the presentation so that you know who has to do what. So the facilitator do the preparation with the client. Actually, the session will be successful if the client has a clear, defined help contract. Ensure that the timing and steps are respected. Keep an eye on the type of question asked in the second step, because usually, often the people get immediately into suggestion or solution, and it's not the right time for that. Then I will distribute the floor as well to each consultant and then ask for feedback in the end. Another tips is to value the values of benevolence, respect, and listening. The co-development is based on those values of mutual help and respect for each other. And keep it over time. So it's nice to have a group that you can do a CODEV with a small group that's maybe for 3 months. That's so that the people in the group can be at least once can be a client and the other ones then consultants. And as I was preparing, just to let you know, I'm still learning. Actually, even if I did facilitate quite a lot of CODEV, I'm still learning, because here in Luxembourg, what we were doing, we were always giving a CODEV, a one-shot CODEV, with one person having an obstacle or problem, but that was it. The session was over after 2 hours. And I realized doing the preparation to present today, I realized that what I was missing, it was that to see, okay, the person who had the CODEV, we don't know what happened. Did he follow our tips? What happened with the person and the project? So I really love the idea of having that little group of people that we keep following. And this is what we are going to do. From September until November, we said, okay, let's try it that way. We've never did it. And I'm super excited actually to see how it would work. And we will select 5 people to do that and try out that way. And this is surely a great way to keep going with the CODEV method. So now the steps. The steps. So, and you can actually also, I have a visual, but you didn't send it to me. Yeah, the visual, it's the next one. So I don't know if we can, I will start with the visual and then we get back to the other one, so that if you want to write down anything but it's just to explain that the client, who is Caroline today, she will explain her project and the contract of help that she wishes to sign with us, the consultants. Then the consultants, they just listen. What is nice, you get to learn how to get to the point, which means Caroline will try to talk about Facilitate like in 6 minutes max. So the second step, it's clarification. It's actually the consultants ask questions We will all ask questions to better understand and refine the assistant contract. We will try to see, are you sure, Caroline, this is what you need today? This is the way you want to, have a solution to your situation. And the client answers the consultants. The third step, it's the contract. That's the client, still Caroline, will validate the help contract or refines it, even change it when she will hear and listen to the questions that we will all give to her. The 4 steps, if there is any, you can stop me. I'm just like, if you don't understand or if you have any questions. So the 4 steps is the reactions. The consultant, we will suggest solutions to Caroline, and she will not be allowed to talk. So if you have questions, you won't get any answer, because this is also what the facilitator should do, is just keep an eye on, the questions to Caroline is on the step 2. And so we are really into the reaction, only the reaction. The only things that Caroline will do is to write down all our advices and what we will give as a solution. The 5th steps, it's the client draws up an action plan with all the suggestions that we will give to her. So usually what I do with the CODEV, I never let an entrepreneur out from the session without asking him, okay, great, you have all that, what will be your first action tomorrow? So that he knows that, okay, I received really a lot, so I will start doing something with that. And the last step, it's actually just having a feedback from all of you and what you learned from the session. And so that's about the steps. I don't know, maybe you can show again all the steps. If you understood all of them, we will try them out anyway. So, and yes, from the feedback, which is not that slide. Yes, from the feedback, this is what I got. I had a lot of different feedbacks, but the one I really love, it's the last one. It's that we develop more and more ideas when we listen to the ideas of the others. It's ideas actually without boundaries. And it's so true. It's really nice. You will experience that in a minute all together. I could start to do some storytelling, because I have lots of examples what happened during CODEV session, that the person had an idea, and in 2-hour session the idea just went, okay, maybe that's another way to do it. And it was really nice to see how it went. And finally, I think we get that's as you will see, it's quite a lot of women. Usually we are I don't know where are the men, but when we do CODEV, it's usually women coming, as today we are as well between us. So the last one. So here we go. If you have any questions before we start, please don't hesitate, raise the hand, and I can go, tell you more about the method. But as I said, it's a good way to understand the process if you understood well, if we enter directly, which means that Caroline will now introduce herself and the project. I will just show you 2 other slides, which are actually the pictures of Facilitate. We are here, or maybe you can show them when you present. So I hand over to Caroline, and we enter in the first step process of the CODEV.
There's no other question, right? On the methodology. There. Okay. So nice to meet you. I'm Caroline. I'm Caroline. I like to say Caroline actually. I think Cecil say 100 times Caroline, but I will just keep Caroline if you don't mind.
Sorry, I just English the name.
No, it's okay. Yeah, I'm the coordinator of a project called Facilitate that you've heard. You heard the name several times already. Facilitate is actually a building. It used to be an old wooden factory, and it was recuperated 3 years ago by an association called the Transition Minette, so transition for the south of Luxembourg. You want to show another picture? That's Facilitate. So we see up on the upper part the wooden factory, and I know how it looks a little bit. It was it's old picture already, but that's we improved a lot the look of the wooden factory. So we recuperated the place 3 years ago, and we fully renovated it together with several communities, students, refugees, neighbors, entrepreneurs, with the co-creator communities, and several communities like these people just wanted to volunteer. People from a lot of part, a lot of background, and we just renovated it all together with the idea of the circular economy. So with the idea that we will take only leftover or waste, let's say, to renovate the wooden factory. So we actually also had some I don't know, objectives about the time that we had also to deliver and to renovate within a certain time, because the building we'll have the building only for temporary use, so we couldn't spend like 10 years renovating it and collecting all the things from the circular economy. So we also bought some materials. So we renovate the building, and now we are using it for several purposes. One of them is as a shared atelier, a shared workshop, where we can work with wood, with metal, and also with new technologies. So we have 3D printers, and we have also some numerical cutters. I'm not sure of the English name of this, but you draw something on your computer, and then you can cut a wooden panel or metal panel or something like this. And the other part of Facilitate is also to be a place to host the entrepreneur as a co-working place, and also to host the other association, the collective of people, of neighbors, of whatever several people want to meet. They can use the place as the meeting point. So the main global idea upon that is to be a third place. So a third place is a place meant to be self-gestionate together with all the people that are using the place, actually. So that's what we do. We have several group of work, and we maintain and gestionate the place all together. And I had another idea that I wanted to add. So I don't know, did I forget something? I wanted to add many things.
It's a nice place to be.
Yeah, it's a very, very pleasant. It's a very pleasant place, and we often all meet together. The people that are using the most the space are actually our own association. So Transition Minute, we are several people working there, and we use the place. Then we have the entrepreneur community, and then we have some neighbors. We have handy people, handy men, handy women, actually also. a lot that just want to learn things. So the main red link between all these activities is to be a place that provides space, so you can build your own project or build in any way, so you can shape your project actually. So if it's an entrepreneur, or if it's something, you know, like, I don't know, you want to build something, you can do it here. Yeah, so for us, the biggest goal is to create a community, and maybe I go to the
health contract.
To the health contract. So what I thought, thinking about it quickly, what I could expect from this CODEV actually, maybe we could try to think about how to make those two different communities, so the community of the entrepreneur and the community of the crafty, handy person, be more mixed together. Because the aim of the third place is to actually bring different communities mixing together, like learning from each other, building new connection, new project all together. And so far, even though we do events together, there's entrepreneurs that go downstairs to the atelier to do some prototypes or something for their company, but the community, they don't mix so much actually. Yeah, so that's more or less our issue. We have different time schedules, we have different activities. Usually the entrepreneur, they more want to meet on the daytime, let's say, and the handy people, they do it as a side job or a side project. And they maybe want to meet on the weekends or on the evenings. And even though we try to do many things all together, it's a little bit harder to mix those two communities. So that would be my request, let's say, how to mix better the two different communities to make a more homogeneous, bigger community.
Thanks a lot, Caroline. We will enter in the second step, which is actually, as I said, a clarification. And as consultants, it's about, you can even ask if you didn't really understand, if you are still missing an information about the project itself. Facilitate, you can as well ask questions, but also questions to clarify the help contract, because that will help Caroline on the third step to say, okay, maybe that was not what I needed when I hear all the questions you have, and she will the one in the end, the contract phase to redefine if needed. So we usually say lady first, but I would say the man first. Jay, do you want to, if you have any question to?
Yeah, I guess my question is, are both of these groups paying to use the space? Are there people who are in there regularly or not so regularly?
So the entrepreneur, they do pay for the co-working, which is a very reasonable price for for Luxembourg, let's say, because we really stress that our aim is to give also not only our money, but a little bit of our time to dedicate it to the community. So we don't ask a lot of money, but we ask a little bit of time. And the craftsy people, they only pay the 20 euro a year to have access to be insured first, and to just also be more settled in the association, let's say.
So I will, normally we have, as we are sitting in one place, circle, we always go around. So I will try, because I'm a little bit, some people here, some people there, but I will follow my screens, and the next one then will be Jessica.
Hi, trying to think of the best possible question to be most helpful, but I think what keeps coming back into my mind is what's the biggest challenge that you're seeing in it? What's the biggest problem?
In mixing those communities.
Yeah.
You mean? Yeah, the biggest thing I think is because they don't meet at the same time schedule. So when we do, for example, from a date to find a common date, we just have the two communities that are really having their own viable moments also. Because the entrepreneur, of course, they want to meet on their working time mainly, because after their project is so demanding that they want their evening and their weekends for the family, while the other maybe their job is not so personal driven, so they want to meet on weekends and after works. That's I think it's a time. Yeah.
Sonia?
Do you organize activities to gather people every now and then?
Yeah, we organize sometimes mainly food activities, so like lunch or dinner or after works. Yeah, and then we also have the collective moment of co-gestion of the place.
Lina?
The question that's been popping up to mind is you've mentioned that it's an association or there's an association structure. So from my understanding is that members would most likely sign an agreement or have an understanding of let's say what the ground rules are for joining an association, and that would also include common values. So I'm quite curious to understand what are the things that both of these parties have signed up for, so to speak, by being a part of the association.
Yeah, that's a very good question. So it's an association dedicated to the transition movement in the south of Luxembourg. So basically our common values is to I have actually miss vocabulary for all this in English, which is sad.
You can say it in French, I can probably translate it.
Okay, la bienveillance.
Benevolence.
Benevolence.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, benevolence. And yeah, the ecology, sustainability, and all those things. Also, making together one community and help each other, and all those very general values.
Okay. Thank you.
Kate?
I don't know if this is a bit of a stupid question, but what would be like your key reason for bringing these people together? Would it be to make them gel socially and just network naturally? Would it be to achieve a specific aim? Would it be to kind of bring the values that you've just mentioned to life? What would be the key reason that you want to do that?
So the biggest idea of Facilitate is to be able to bring different people together, so they exchange their idea and maybe they would make new project together. So it would be like a circle. You come here because you have a project, then you meet people, and then you make project with them, and maybe you make the project, and that you slowly or fastly actually empower yourself to really build up and make real project, because people, they often have like so many ideas, and then when you really try to make them real, it's a little bit it's better to be a bunch of people actually. So yeah, just so they can meet more people and they can change more, and we really believe that the more the different people are mixing, the more interesting the project will be, because they would really. We don't hear you.
Chris, I don't know if she wants to add something.
Sorry, I thought I'd pressed on mute. Sorry, could I just have one sort of follow-up question to that, which would be, is there anywhere?
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt. Usually what we do, it's always one question per person, and each, but you can keep it because we will do another round. Because I have to look at the time as well. I might, if Ham and Eve are okay, I might not go through both of you because
we already know everything about
yes, and because we don't maybe have not enough time. So Kate, sorry that I interrupted you, but keep it warmly or write it down because you might forget it. Chris.
Thank you, thank you, Cecile. Carolyn, you mentioned some of the things that you've tried already, events that you've tried. Which of those were most successful in terms of what you're trying to achieve, and what did that success look like?
So we had quite a success actually on mixing different people when we celebrated, for example, the Eid. we had both Eid as we called it the cultural our cultural day. So we basically were all day cooking and eating all together. So we had a long moment where people could just come join us in the morning, for the lunch and for the afternoon. And then we exchanged a lot actually on those moments, and people got to know better each other. And we really reached people that, because the time was so wise that they were actually very feeling welcome to come, and then lazy to go. So they were maybe changing a little bit also their time schedule, so they could actually connect more and yeah, be more a part of this. I think it's the moment where we reached both together as much as entrepreneur and crafty people. And yeah, usually, as I said, the food moments are the best moment to. So we really create interesting things because it's more laid back, and people are more open to talk actually about what they do, but not in such a formal way. And yeah, that's where you start to see like, oh yeah, you know, to build this, but in my project I'd like to try this, and maybe let's meet the other day. I mean, that would be what we would really like. So it happens in certain circumstance, and that's the moment where it happens the best. The other side of the question is also what is not working really is the moment where we are actually sitting in circle to try to take the collective decisions. And in this moment, it's really hard to first to get new ideas, to get new projects between the participants, and also a hard moment to bring the two communities together at the same time scheduled.
Thank you. That's a very full answer.
An hour? Ed? Oui. Eva. Okay.
Maybe she cannot speak.
Okay. So we can actually do a second round. I mean, not for those who still have one question, or maybe I can even ask. It's special to do it like that online, but maybe if someone else wants to add or have another question of clarification, then if not, I mean, Kate, I know you have one, but if not, we can go into the third step afterwards. Okay, you can start actually. Kate?
Hi. It was just to ask if there's any kind of virtual or physical space currently where members can exchange ideas without necessarily being sat there doing it in person.
Yeah, I take a kitchen, but I'm thinking about something a little bit more Interesting.
It's a small kitchen.
Yeah, it's a tiny kitchen. That's because so the first we have 3 floors actually. So downstairs is dedicated to the atelier, to the workshop. Upstairs is like a full open space that we use for several purposes, and then upstairs is really dedicated to the co-working. So we have meeting room, we have desks that are staying like this. We often also work on the first floor, but usually the second floor is the working one. And so I would say the most flexible space for this is the first floor. There's the machine and there's the kitchen and the bathroom, so it's where we naturally cross each other.
Yeah, thank you.
Jane?
I just want to make sure I understood. So the reason you want to bring these 2 groups of people together is, 1, you want them to participate more in the collective sort of upkeep of the site, and 2, you are hoping for new entrepreneurial projects to emerge. Is that correct?
It's very correct. I couldn't have said it better.
Any other clarification that anyone may need? Yes, Lena?
I think Jessica had her hand before me, but.
Thank you, Lena. You might have said this and I missed it, but what consultation have you already done with both groups about what they want?
Consultation, I wouldn't say we've done any. I try to think. Yeah, it's just usually people come to Facilitate because they have idea they want to realize, and yeah.
Sorry that I missed someone deciding. So Lina now.
My question is around, is there some kind of directory, so when people sign up to join the association, is there a way that people can read about the people who are part of the association and the community? And I think, I wasn't sure if, Kate, this was your question earlier, which was about other spaces. I wasn't sure if you also meant digital spaces, but that's also kind of what I'm asking as well, is more of, yeah, okay, that was it. So yeah, so we're thinking along the same line. So yeah, so are there digital platforms that you might use to communicate, that people within the community can communicate with each other, is the question that I have. And Kate has. We're asking the same question. And yeah, is there a directory as well? So those are my, I guess, 2-in-1 question.
So we actually, we don't have such a fluid numerical and digital interface to talk. Yeah, that's probably our issue. We have so what we do is that we have, for example, a WhatsApp group for several group of work. So we work as a, we divide kind of a category, and people regarding their interests, they get involved in one or each other group of work. So for example, we have the communication group, we have the governance group, we have the workshop group, we have the aménagement, how to say this, how to build the space. Yeah, and we use different tools regarding what the group inside of their exchange they choose. So some use WhatsApp, some use only emails. We have a common Trello, but it's only to get like a feed. I mean, to be able to find all the things we built it together. Yeah, that everyone has access to it. And we also have social media that sometimes we exchange, but depend on what people are actually feeling comfortable with. Usually it's hard to find one main. So we basically didn't tackle this question. We just divide. We divide in smaller communities in small groups, and we use the digital platform, I'd say, that is chosen by those small groups.
Thank you.
Sonia?
Yeah, so do you offer any kind of workshops or, you know, any sessions like this for upskilling, maybe things like that, that can get them together?
Workshops of what?
You know, workshops on any subject, really, upskilling, you know, things to support for projects, you know, things like that.
I'm not sure I got this.
For example, sometimes, you know, people are a bit, you know, to start a project, you lack certain skills. So maybe workshops that can be useful for them all, you know, that can bring people together, you know, on different subjects.
Yeah, so we do quite many workshops, sometimes dedicated to reparation. So we organize a lot of repair cafe, and it's true that it's also a moment where people meet also. But we are from September we will start to organize some small workshop session that we'll call the Coffee of the Entrepreneur, but actually we could, I'm thinking that maybe we could rename it, and it will be dedicated to how to build up and settle your ideas. So for example, about communication, about the right price, and it will be very concrete and on subject, and it will be given by the entrepreneur or by the people that really want to tackle this topic. And it would be in September, because it's something that usually people say they want to have in the place.
So if you're all okay, we can go to the third step, which is, or at least if you still have or need to ask, please let me know. If not, we will have to validate with all the questions that you got.
It looks like Kate has another question.
Oh, sorry, Kate.
Sorry, it's just a really quick one. Have you ever offered any kind of wellness sessions like mindfulness or yoga for your members?
We have several entrepreneurs that are dealing with this topic. And so far, I remember they tried, but it didn't really work to do something here, like Noemi. But it's not really us, let's say, but we have a lot of people working in this wellness area, yeah, or at least are very sensitive. All of them are in a way sensitive to this topic, that's for sure.
Thank you.
So now you will have to validate your contract for change it, or if you think that the way you.
So my first thing was I think I talk while I think, right? Yeah. So my first question was how to. What was it again? How to mix better those two communities so they can build a project together. And then is it still my question? I already have ideas from the question that popped up, so I find it interesting, but I don't know exactly how I could reformulate or.
I mean, if you think what is always also important in a CODEV, it's really the one of the most important part, I will say, the help contract, because now if it's really important to have it clear, that the question, I mean, the formulation of the help contract has to be super clear, because all of your reactions on the step 4 will always refer to that question, and that's actually what is asked. So usually what I do, as we are together, physically together, I always have a paper, I hang a paper and so on. I mean, I could do it actually, or put it in the chat, so that as soon as you have to give your reaction, you always get back to what was asked. So, I mean, if you think it's clear enough for you, and if it's really the reaction you need to, how to mix those communities, and or if with the
Yeah, I try to think. Maybe I need to 1 second more. Because I know it's important phases, and I know then it would be like a written, and we'll brainstorm hardly on this. So should it be too more specific because it's too vague? But maybe then if it's specific, we'll just and
because for the moment the consultants, they just ask. Now we react.
Yeah.
And give advice and tips, and we can.
Yeah, maybe we'll keep it like this. Yeah.
Okay.
So we be more wide.
So it's really how to mix, to have more. I mean,
Crossing.
yes. That the public in Facilitation, they kind of can cross. And,
yeah. So how do we make the Facilitation community
users,
users having more
connections,
more crossings in their projects? What?
or interaction?
Yeah, yeah. I like the crossing project, because I think it was also nice that Jay really summarized the 2 goals of the why do we want people to cross, right? So yeah, maybe on this specific thing. Okay. Crossing on their project. I don't know if you can do this. You decide. I don't know. You have the final validation of the question, isn't it?
No, I think everyone. Everyone, I guess, understood.
Okay. Shall I write it down?
And you can write it down in the chat. I think that. There is Kate writing. How can we bring these 2 groups together to get them to participate in collective upkeep and for more entrepreneur project to emerge?
How can we bring this? Sounds good, no?
You have to validate
it. Yeah, I like the way it's written with a very good English. That perfect.
You have it. Great,
Yeah,
thanks.
good. Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks, Jay and Kate. So we will do the step 4, as I said, and we will then start with the reactions. So, which is solutions that you can bring to Caroline with that help contract.
So I'm not able to talk anymore, right? Okay. I write down.
Just write down. So I will start with Kate.
Just one idea.
Sorry, what did you say, Kate?
So it was a question. Did you say you wanted to start with me? And was that just for me to just have one idea or something? Did I misunderstand?
But we will start our round as we did in step 2 with the questions.
Yeah.
And now we do the reactions. So it's actually, now that we have that the help contract is validated, it's about answering that questions and giving your input or your advice or solutions to that particular situation.
Thank you.
And it's actually one each turn, one solutions, and you keep the other ones afterwards.
Do you want me to start?
Yes, I'm trying to follow regarding my screen.
Okay, sorry. So one idea that came to mind for me was to have a space, either physical or virtual, perhaps both, perhaps a notice board or like a box or a jar where people can just post ideas, or even a virtual space, so like a web page where people can post ideas anonymously. And I guess then it takes a bit of pressure off and a bit of embarrassment away from them if they're maybe a little bit shy about their idea. And then perhaps you could open that box or collect those ideas and kind of bring them up in a brainstorming session during, I don't know, an event or an open day.
Thank you, Kate. Lina?
I was thinking of having like a blind date networking. So people get matched from the network, and so they don't know each other. They may or may not know each other, but then they get matched. And depending on their schedules, they could either meet in person or online.
Thank you, Lina. Jay? Oh, that's so happy hour.
So that's what I'm in the Economy Center. We have similar issues. So we're having a happy hour today. So you should do that.
This?
Did you say me, Cecile?
Yes.
Sorry. Okay, so I heard you tell me that there are certain activities you've done that definitely seem to work better. So for me, my suggestion is to do some more consultation, create spaces physically and virtually, and find out what it is that brings people together, what they're willing to make time and space for, and then follow that.
Sonia?
Actually, is what I was going to say, the same as Jessica, more or less. Perhaps I could add, to do like a board. It could be online or in person, in terms of, what would you like this space to offer you? What are your needs? And get some ideas of workshops as well, and who would volunteer to give those workshops, and things like that. Some brainstorming of ideas.
And Chris, thanks.
I think my idea was very close to Jess's, which was to follow up on the all-day event with food that brought in the most people, and then build into that ways to undertake that consultation. So they're having a really good time. They don't feel as if they're being consulted, because most people really don't like being consulted. It seems really tedious. And so if it's combined with something that they know they've enjoyed before, they're more likely to come back and do it again.
Eve? Awa? Sorry.
It's the same. Well, I'm not sure I have anything to add, since I'm part of the Facilitate group communication. So we have gathered some idea, like Caroline said before. So I will say that I'm here to listen to.
Thank you. I can also ask Ikram, Eva.
Well, I just have maybe I didn't follow. what you say before, but I was just asking, what do these people have in common?
This is a question.
Yeah, yeah, it was a question.
It's a reaction.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, then maybe, yeah.
This is your speech.
I know, but I couldn't talk. But I didn't ask them to talk.
No, I know. It was just. It's true.
Maybe to find out what they have in common and to do an event together.
So we can do another round, Kate. I don't know if you still have any advice, solutions.
Yeah, I guess mine just builds on a lot of the things that everyone's already said. It sounded like the open day was a great idea because it gives people a lot of flexibility. And obviously food always brings people together. So I don't know if you could kind of, I suppose, like build on that and maybe try and ask them to bring in food, that they maybe have like a cake competition, or I don't know what, something that really involves people that they're going to get excited about. You know, I guess you could also time it to be like an Easter celebration, or I don't know, any kind of cultural event. And then, yeah, I suppose if your values are like benevolence, ecology, sustainability, I don't know if you're really linked to any local charities or movements, but, you know, perhaps like on like Earth Day, could you all get together and have kind of a Earth themed event or something like that?
Thanks. Lina?
Similar to the previous suggestion I had of like speed dating and connecting people, but I was wondering if this similar idea, but it would be in the form of a skill swap. So people could perhaps say, these are the skills that I have, everyone knows what they have, and then what skills are people looking for, and then they get matched. So that could be an idea. And then they could, again, choose whether they want to meet in person or online, depending on their schedules.
Jay?
I don't really have any new ideas.
Okay. Jess?
I was going to say pretty much what Lena said, actually. So I was thinking about an in-house time bank, setting up something like that. So it's there as an offer, which will encourage collaboration, because if somebody needs somebody who's great at marketing, or if they're a really good, I don't know, planner, they can just log into the time bank and start that skill swap happening, start those communications, those conversations. So yeah, time banking in-house, that was my suggestion.
How did you say, Jessica, the name of it? Because I time banking?
A time bank. So yeah, so I might give you 3 hours of my time, and then it lives in a bank and I can claim it later.
Yeah. Sonia?
No, I don't really have new suggestions, really. I mean, what they've suggested is great.
And Chris?
So I think there are plenty of good ideas out there already. I'm not going to gild the lily.
Awa?
Nothing to add.
So I don't know if we do a last round, and you can maybe again raise your hand, or Lina?
Since what seemed to be the most popular things were like food and drink gatherings, I was wondering if you could organize the themes of the food and drink gatherings around the values of the association. So maybe it would be a bit more of people could be a bit more creative with the curation of the themes of when they're gathering. So like, what does benevolence look like you if we were organizing like a lunch or a dinner? So what would that look like in terms of how you would create that experience of people being together? Yeah, just looking through the values and maybe having it more of like an event experience focused, and then instructing people a bit more like, these are the guidelines for you know, how we would structure the event, and then allow them to bring their creativity based on whatever it is that they're feeling. And yeah, they might want to contribute to the meal, or also even like not only food, but maybe there could also be some kind of activities or games as well that could also be included as a part of the gathering. So and then as well, I also don't know if people have their children as well, and do they, you know, you would have a children's day where people can meet each other's families, like how involved are the people there? So those are just some ideas to expand on the most popular thing that you already have.
And coming with children, it's the next generation of entrepreneurs, so it's nice. They can already be inspired. Anyone in the room? Anyone else? So now we can go into the step 5, would be, again, Caroline, to draw up an action plan.
Okay. Draw up an action plan. So I took a lot of notes. I like that the idea was either physical and also digital, because we work a lot on the physical place, but actually we definitely miss a digital place, because people are getting more and more comfortable with co-working also, and then they sometimes the common space is not maybe so always so physical anymore, and at least it can be like another entrance to the time issue that we have, because digital we don't have the time issue so much, so at least we can give a few moments of our time to be dedicated or to use a platform or something, so we can connect it. So I think loud. I don't know. Out loud, yeah. So the digital, I like the match and the meeting, the connection that we could do, like a small connection between like face-to-face nearly people, that it would be digital or physical, but this kind of matching either skills or projects or things like this. Yes, some more events. Did I teach you? No. It's a group. I try to just make links on my notes.
Actually, I would share, talking about digital, it's, I've just shared the platform. It's a friend of mine, he was based in Canada, he came back to Luxembourg, but that's a project that he has for many, many years now. Vivre local, it's in French. I'm not sure that there is any English translation, or I haven't looked through that. But that's how you can link people with the different subject, I mean, that and values that they can have in common. It's really nice platform. Miss Alice.
Yeah, you will say
Give it to me.
Yes. The time banking is funny because we kind of experimented before the second wave of COVID that also affected a lot in all the communities. So of course our was not special on this, and we call it the Facilitation actually. So it's like a kind of points that we can use if we gave more time to the community, then we can use to exchange services or to lower a little bit the rent, let's say. But the point is it's a lot of I don't know how to say not malintention, but attention actually to evaluate, to assess, to so but I'd like that it could be something maybe something I don't know, not something else, but something more laid back and maybe more so self-gestionate and only dedicated to services. That'd be nice, I think. Like to exchange those services. So yeah. What should I do again?
it was the
Client
action
to
plans that you can actually already put.
Okay, but since there are several directions, one is an event direction, like try out some new events. That is also the events itself mix more different concepts actually. So I think that's a nice idea, and to explore a little bit more, not only like a food dedicated event or organization dedicated event, but to have something a little bit in between, a little bit more hybrid. I think that's something we'll try out soon, and it's also easy to settle because we just need a date, a common date, and then that'll be it. Yeah, and then should I pick only one big idea or?
No, it was actually nice to see that you will do.
Yeah, for sure. Also the virtual kind of box idea to offer to offer to give the idea. I think it's also nice and easy, and then it's also easy to use it as a brainstorming material altogether, and to also reflect on it and do exactly what we did actually, because when someone give an idea, then you haven't thought about this idea, and then when the person give it to you, you're like, yes, and we can do it like this, and then it brings always new ideas. So it's nice to have this common space of just brainstorming that would be with no time schedule, just like always going on, to be able to go on this. Okay,
nice. Okay. So you'll send a summary of your actions afterwards.
Okay.
With pictures.
Wow. Yes.
So we enter in the last phase, which is the feedback. Actually, it's kind of a closure round that everyone can actually express and say, okay, this is what I've learned, what was interesting, and so we can keep the same round. And yes, Kate.
Do I feedback on the process in general or specifically
on the process? Yes, as we are specifically focusing on the CODEV, so it would be nice to. Yes.
I just thought it was really, really interesting and really useful. I'll definitely be using it myself in the future. Really time effective and interesting way to get people together and innovate. Thank you.
Thanks, Kate. Nina?
I thought it was good. I think because I'm also a design consultant by background, so I'm familiar with this type of thing. Perhaps maybe I probably would put post-its or maybe use a Miro board, so it's a bit more visual, because as the session goes on, sometimes people in the room, like so much has happened, but having like a visual thing can help anchor some of the messages and the points of discussions as a reminder. But yeah, it was good. And I also like that we went around a couple of times. So yeah, it was nice to hear everyone's feedback as well and have that clarification process. Yeah.
Jay?
Yeah, I feel the same as what other people have said. I think probably when you're all in the same room, there's a different kind of energy. But it is kind of surprising how simply by taking our time and just having some constraints can just help us focus in and yeah, so I like that. So yeah, I will be applying what I've learned here to other things that I do.
Thank you, Jess.
Hi, Cecile. I found it really interesting for a few different reasons. One is I facilitate action learning sets, which are structured incredibly similarly, with the exception of we're not allowed to give advice. That's the whole point, is that we have to ask questions to enable the client, as you refer to them, to find their own solutions that work for them. So it was really interesting to see it in such a similar format, but with such a very different way of doing it. I like how held it is. It's very firmly held, and I think that's really, really helpful when you're doing this, when you're allowing people to give advice, because we all want to say everything that we think all of the time, don't we? So I think it's really wonderful to see how well held it is and how useful that space can be. We do something similar to this in an organisation I work with in a learning programme, but it's not as tightly held. So I'm going to take this back to them as a suggestion, because I think this is more useful.
Great. And Sonia?
Yeah, I found it really, really useful, actually. I really like the methodology. And as I agree with Jessica, I liked how tightly held it was, you know, like the order you have and how you stop people from carrying on, you know. So that way it's more time efficient for sure. And the ideas that flourished here were really useful. So yeah, I liked it.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, I'm another one. I've been involved with things like this, but not as good as this. I think there are extra steps in here that I think are really important. The opportunity to ask questions to clarify, and having been involved in action learning sets myself, I know how difficult it can be to get people to stick to that rather than diving into bright ideas. So I get that completely. That's really, really important. I think the whole process to me is just really, you said you've done it lots of times, and that's what it feels like to me, that it's a really well developed, well proven way of doing this. And yes, I'm very happy to borrow bright ideas from absolutely anyone, and I think this is a really useful one. And I like the idea of, as you're going to try in September, of actually having a group of going round the people. I can see pluses and minuses on both sides, because this way you get sort of fresh interactions each time. But there are bound to be advantages from having the safety that comes from knowing the people that you're going through the process with, and knowing how well it's worked in the past would give confidence. So I can see both of those working. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks a lot. And Awa? Is she still there?
I think she signed off.
Oh yes, she. No, thanks so much to all of you, because for me it was I mean, what I like about that process and what I've experienced, and as you said, Jay, the energy is different, of course, when you are everyone together in the same room. It's what I like, it's an idea brings another idea to someone else, and this is how all the brains together can finally, that's why we say co-development, because indeed it's one project that in the end, with all the rounds, it's in a few and in short timing is developed actually with other people. And I'm really looking forward to start the CODEV the way in Reconomy, what we try is to do differently that we usually done. And I like the fact that it's all the entrepreneurs that are the coach of each other, sort of. There will be a client. So I definitely want to see how it works, keeping the same people and doing that. And in the end, we have plenty of program here in Luxembourg, where you have a full program over 6 months, 3 months, with a lot of experts. But the way we will try this one with only the one method, and to see how far it will bring the project after 3 months. And I will keep you updated if you want. If it works well, and we can do another session, and I will let you know if I got any other, things that we can add, or say that it's really a good way to do it as well. So definitely thanks again to be there, and yes, do many CODEVs as you want in your countries. And I don't know if you want still, I'm quite happy because we said 3:30 and we still have 3 minutes. So I don't know if Jay, you want to add anything?
Well, I'll just say thank you everyone for coming. And like I said, we'll be doing more of these kinds of things. And if you want to offer something to the Reconomy community of practice in this way, let me know. We have colleagues in Japan and Brazil and other parts of Europe. So it's a nice little community developing, and it's all about, learning these kinds of skills and spreading the know-how so that hopefully we can spread change quicker. So big thanks for everyone for coming, and a big thanks to you, Cecile, and Caroline, and everybody there at Facilitate. Thanks for doing this in English.
But thanks for letting us do that. It was a nice experience.
Great. Well, okay then. Well, thanks everyone. See you later. I'll post a video on our YouTube channel. And so if you want to share with colleagues, then there you go. So see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Here we go.